is going on, everybody? Welcome to the latest episode of The Legislative Director, talking about legislative things. Here she is, Legislative Director Amber Marr. With her, as always, not the Legislative Director, Jason Topsy. And it is a new year, a new session. We got a bit of a new show. Now the title stays the same. These jokers are still here, except now we have spectacles. But the setup of the show is going to be a little bit different. We want to get you as much information as fast as possible, as quickly as possible. Fast and quickly, same word. But we want you to know what's going on at the Indiana General Assembly so you can get in, get out, and go back about your day or evening or whatever you're doing when you're listening or watching to this thing. So we are going to dive right in to our first legislative thing.
Okay, welcome back. House Bill 1116 is what we're going to be talking about today. It is called the Virtual Currency Kiosks. So what is a virtual currency kiosk? Criminals use these crypto kiosks to steal millions of dollars from older Americans. The crypto kiosks are also known as crypto ATMs or Bitcoin ATMs or virtual currency kiosks. Most recently, we've heard BTMs.
Yeah, that's weird.
But they are found in supermarkets, convenience stores, gas stations, bars, restaurants. People use these kiosks to conduct legitimate cryptocurrency transactions. Although during testimony in committee this past week, Detective Van Cleve did sort of touch on that and had some questions around how many are actual legitimate.
Shout out to Detective Van Cleve from the Evansville Police Department, friend of the show.
Huge friend of the show.
I don't know if he knows about the show, but he will now.
I mean, I said friend of the show too. Friend of ours.
Friend of ours. Which makes him a friend of the show.
Yes. We'll have to tell him about it.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So anyway, people can use these kiosks for legitimate transactions. How many are legitimate? I think the jury's still out on that. Yeah. But the legitimate transactions would be sending money to digital wallets, but they've also become a very common tool for criminals and for frauds and scams. There are more than, I want to say, I had the number here, 45,000 crypto ATMs nationwide. I want to just quickly talk about how this scam works. So criminals convince their victims that they must address an urgent financial matter, directing them to withdraw large amounts of money from their bank account, and they instruct them to take that money to these virtual currency kiosks, wherever they tell them while they're on their phone with them, and they ask them to insert their money into that machine. Either sometimes they have a QR code, or they'll tell them numbers of the virtual wallet, et cetera. And then as soon as it gets transferred to that wallet, that money is gone.
Money in, money gone.
Yes. Did want to give a huge shout out to Representative Wendy McNamara. She is the author of this legislation. We are very grateful to her. She has put in a lot of time and effort around not only this language, but after the hearing, because it was heard on Tuesday of this week at 10:30 in House Financial Institutions. Mm-hmm. And I was also going to give a shout out. Representative Meltzer, Teschka, and Steuerwald are the co-authors. Chairman Teschka is obviously on the bill. He is the chair of the Financial Institutions Committee, so we are very grateful that he decided to hear the bill as well. Things that we're going to be watching for. The currency kiosk operators have several issues with the bill that we're still trying to work through. They have, and maybe I need to go back and give you the rundown of what's actually in the bill.
Let's hear what's in the bill.
Yeah, sorry.
Let's hear what's in the bill.
Before I tell you what they have a problem with.
Yeah. And you can tell them where the problem points are as you're going through
what's
going on there.
Perfect. It requires licensing for the operators and installation authorization. It mandates quarterly and annual reporting to the Department of Financial Institutions. And they also, in that report, operators must include the street address where all of their kiosks are located, which will help us keep track and have an actual number of how many kiosks are in Indiana. Because right now, we believe there's approximately about 881. A few other top things, fraud warnings, daily transaction limits for all users. So it would be 1,000 within a 24-hour period and 10,000 in a 30-day period. It would cap transaction fees at 3%. Right now, there is no regulation on those fees, so it could be anywhere from 20%, 30%. It could go all the way up to however much.
Large percentages.
Yes. Requires user identifications and prohibits anonymous transactions. I cannot talk today. And it receipts. It also requires the kiosks to provide the user an actual hard copy receipt, but also an electronic receipt. And it will establish prompt refund procedures for fraud victims. I really cannot talk. I feel like there's a lot of, I'm getting caught up. Fraud victims.
There's a lot of tongue twisters in here.
Yeah. And then it provides law enforcement access to investigate information. A lot of good things are in here. So
yeah, a lot of great consumer protections. The folks that run these machines, their hangups are around specifically transaction fees,
transaction limits,
and
the cap on the transaction fees.
Yes. Okay.
That's what they mentioned in committee.
Yeah.
So there may be others that they didn't say there, but those were the two issues. They seem to have an okay comments around everything else.
Yeah.
Some of these things they are claiming that they do already require or have since put in these requirements. I think one of the operators said that they do require identification. They hadn't in the past, but maybe they have done that now. So, but yes, we're working with Representative McNamara. I know that Detective Van Cleve has also sent some information, just trying to find a common ground. We are giving a lot of information as to why that daily transaction limit is so important, and we're trying to hold strong on the $1,000 limit per day. But we know that the industry really wants it to be a little bit higher.
Yeah, and it's just these, just a lot of folks just getting scammed out of tens of thousands of dollars being fed into these machines by these criminals, kind of duping people into doing this. And it's pretty devastating for folks when it happens. And so any kind of guardrails that we can put onto these machines to help prevent that, because we know you can't prevent all fraud, but at least, you kind of put some of those guardrails and barriers up to protect people as much as you possibly can.
Yes. And if it's okay, I just want to read one.
Yeah. A story. Yeah, absolutely.
From our Fraud Watch network, because obviously people call in and explain that they've been scammed, or even, I'm actually going to read the one where he called our Fraud Watch. Okay. Yeah. So I'm just going to make sure. Oh, yes. Okay. Another person. I'm reading off of my testimony from Tuesday because there was a story before that. Okay. There was an individual that got a pop-up on his computer from Microsoft and called the phone number. The scammers gained access to his computer, got his social security number and other confidential information. They instructed him to withdraw $10,000 from his bank and put it into a crypto ATM. He happened to see the AARP Fraud Watch network line and called AARP instead. The helpline volunteer let him know it was a scam, and fortunately, he did not put the money in the ATM. However, there was a woman here in Indiana as well that was it a text? Yes, she received a text message from Apple saying that there were charges against her Apple Pay account. She called the number in the text message, was transferred to the FTC because her identity had been stolen. She was instructed to withdraw $10,000 from her bank account and deposit it into a crypto ATM. She did as she was instructed and never got that money back.
And these are happening every day all across the state.
Yep.
We were fortunate enough that Evansville passed a local ordinance to put some of these kind of guardrails on. But obviously, there's only so much a local entity can do, like a city. So it's important that's why we're pushing for this to be a statewide effort. So, all right.
Yep.
Amber Marr, great job. Welcome back.
Thank you.
It's good to have you here. We're now going to move on to legislative thing number 2. Thing 2, you're going to give us the rundown of what people can expect to next, as well as add on to whatever it is you forgot to say before.
Yes. Okay. Timeline. So it was heard, no vote this past Tuesday. I don't know what the date was. It feels like this week has been 6 weeks in one. Anyway, financial institutions meets on Tuesdays. So If Chairman Teshka holds a meeting next Tuesday, it could be as soon as that.
Okay.
If the amendment is prepared and ready, it could be a week from this next Tuesday, because the week of the 14th, I believe that's the date, that is the last week for committees. So it could either be on Tuesday the 13th or Tuesday the 20th at 10:30.
Okay. So.
Oh, and sorry, did want to give a shout out to the bankers, the credit unions, Citizen Action Coalition. They all stood up and supported this bill with the restrictions that are currently in it, with the safeguards and customer protections.
Yes.
Consumer protections.
And that's what matters.
Yeah.
We want to protect some consumers here from being a victim of these frauds and scams. Let's while we got a little bit of time still before we move on to our third and final thing. We got some photos of you testifying, and you and Detective Van Cleve. Let's put up. Look at her. There's Amber Marr. For those of you that are listening, she's standing at a podium, and just picture Amber talking at a podium, and you'll get what you're going for.
If you listen to the testimony, though, I was very nervous, and I spoke almost as fast as I am in this video.
Crushed it as per usual. There's Amber and Detective Van Cleve talking in the rotunda at the State House prior to. So that was and shout out to him for coming all the way up to do that.
When I gave that shout out, I did say the other organizations, but we had said this earlier, but Detective Van Cleve from the Evansville Police Department was also very much in support. I just kind of assume he is attached to us. So
he's a part of the family. So therefore he's always there.
Yes.
But
he drove up from Evansville that morning, did a wonderful job. And I say wonderful, but these are actually, he deals with this every day. And so sadly, these are things that he's been on the phone with individuals that have been scammed. Yep. He has been in a gas station, convenience store while a scam was happening, but he wasn't even there for that. He was there for something completely different and just so happened to walk in while this was happening. So was able to stop a little bit of the money because that individual had already put, I think, at least $2,000 into the
I think it was something along those lines, yeah.
So thank you for all you do. We know that is hard to deal with, but we really appreciate his expertise.
Yes, and hopefully we'll next week, this will keep on moving forward, and then it'll be on to the Senate. Here's hoping. And I think it's an important legislation that I think we want to get some things going here. So, all right, Amber, thank you for that. Now it's going to be time for our third and final legislative thing. So for thing number 3, you all are getting some homework, and I'm getting serious here. I'm going to take off my glasses and point at the camera and be like, I need you all to go to action.aarp.org/IN crypto fraud. I'm going to say that slower. Action.aarp.org/IN crypto fraud. That'll take you to an action page where you can add your name to a petition asking our legislature to do, the Indiana General Assembly, to take action on crypto ATM fraud, on these crypto kiosks, to help pass this legislation and just take action so that more Hoosiers do not lose a lot of their hard-earned money. Hard-earned money. So action.aarp.org/IN crypto fraud. Add your name to the growing list of Hoosiers that are joining in this effort so that we can hopefully get this across the finish line before what is going to be a short session because of went into session for a couple of weeks in December and that therefore getting out a little bit earlier, 2 weeks earlier at the end of February. So it's going to be
I believe on the calendars, it stated they will be out by February 27th.
Yes, that is wild. So it is a sprint, not a marathon.
Definitely
Usually the
not.
analogy goes the other way around. And so we'll be hard at it to try to get this passed, as well as other legislation. So stay tuned for that. And anything else you want to add, Amber, before we wrap this up?
Nope.
Awesome.
We're good to go.
Well, we appreciate all of you. Welcome back. Happy New Year. And we will see you next time. Wait, hold on a second. Don't forget. Action.aarp.org/IN crypto fraud. Go there, take action. All right, and now we'll wrap it up. And we will see you next time on the Legislative Director, talking about legislative things. Until then.